Alright YouTube, today's the day. We got a new cooling fan here. Comes with all the wiring. The instructions are just ridiculous. I finally found this one online. So what I've decided I'm going to do is we're going to remove the metal fan. Now, I've got a complete or new hoses for the top and bottom. The top one just hasn't showed up yet. So I want to do a flush on the system, but I want to try to get everything I can done because the parade is next weekend. So hopefully it shows up pretty quick and I'll be able to do the flush on the radiator. But anyways, it is an air-conditioned truck, and as far as I know, I believe it works. It's not locked up. Just took the belt off it because I'm not going to use it right now anyways. It doesn't have the vents inside or the hoses to the vents. So I think to try to make it easier on myself, guy's just going to break these loose after we get the fan off, and we will lean the radiator forward, and that'll give us the room to mount that. These right here, little bumpers that they go between there, and it's what they mount with. But anywho, I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to record of this because of the fact that it's windy, so I may be able to put on time lapse. But I'm gonna get a couple of wrenches that I didn't bring to take this fan off, and we'll go from there. All right, YouTube, so this fan had a extension on it and everything, and what they were doing was trying to get the fan closer to the radiator, I think, to help draw in. I have to run to the hardware store real fast because, you got to get the right bolts to put this back in there and tighten it up. But we'll run up there and get that, and we'll bring you back. And we're back, YouTube. So if you ever have to go and get you, bolts for this, you have to replace them like I did. Don't get them too long because it'll hit the back, but also don't get them too short. You want to make sure you have a good amount of threads on there. So these right here are perfect length, and I'm going to put just a little blue Loctite on all of them and then run them in there. Blue Loctite because I just want to make sure that if I have to take it back off for any reason, who knows, this cooling fan, it may not work the way I want it to, or I may have to run them both. I won't be able to take it back out, or in the future if I have to take it off for any reason, water pump, we'll be able to take it off. So put y'all back on time lapse and get going again. Okay, so everything that I have looked up on the interwebs has showed me goes this, one of these, this through the fan here, like so. One of these, this slides through the radiator. On the back side of it, you have another one of these, followed by the spring, like that, followed by this. There's, like I said, there's no instructions to this thing. I had to go online and just find everything for myself. But out of everything that I've read, and I just dropped something, hopefully it wasn't something that's important. Oh, it was. Very important. Everything that I could read shows that's the way to do it, so that's what I'm going to follow. And here we go. If you look down in there, oops, sorry. Focus, there we go. Nothing's touching. Everything's good and tight. Super easy to do. Wasn't hard at all. I recommend not tightening the top very tight at first, so you have room to swing the bottom out to put the stuff, the hardware underneath it. It still worked for me, and yes, I need a new one of those pulleys down there. So hopefully I find one eventually. Now, the electrical part of this, on the fan itself, where those right there are, it actually came with this, but it didn't come with the focus. There we go. Didn't come with the other side of it, just little connector pieces to slide over that, and I don't like that. I'd rather just do it that way. I'll heat shrink it. I doubt that JC Smith would ever watch my videos, but if you are, I did put that goop stuff on there so it doesn't get the green crusties. But I am in Texas, where we don't really get much rain, or not rain, well, rust. So next thing is we're gonna start getting all this right here up and ready to go. Some of these things I'm going to change out to, when I say like the ends here, I don't know, I just think I have bigger ends like than this right here, and I think I could just get a better ground if I have a bigger one. More options to put it in different places. I could even go as far as to put it up here, you know what I mean? Well, that was actually going to fit, look at that. Maybe I should just shut up, huh? Anyways, it's pretty, well, I can't put my phone down. It's pretty, not self-explanatory, but the red goes to the battery. The white is key hot. The black, of course, is ground. And these two, the blue and the black, go to the fan down there. One's blue, one's black. It's kind of, you can't really tell. I got them covered up with some heat shrink, but the one's blue, one's black. So I'm gonna go ahead and put y'all on time lapse, and I'm gonna try to figure out some how I'm gonna run everything and get all in there, and make sure that I did bring some wire loom because I want to make sure I get it loomed up. I just don't want it dangling down there. And we'll come back. So the guy is trying to figure out how all this works. and I can't make sense of it. So before I do this super immaculate hiding all the wires and put them in this and that job, I don't understand why you'd put this on there. Okay, because if you hit it to ground, of course the key's off, it automatically triggers the solenoid, which turns the fan on. But it is hooked up this right here, which according to the wiring diagram that I found online, is supposed to just hook there. So like I said, things aren't adding up in my mind right. So what I'm gonna do is I got everything just somewhat wired, and we're gonna start her up, let her build up temperature, make sure we have enough water. I did lose some out of that hole right there. Oh yeah, we're still good. I'm gonna start her up and I'm gonna let her build temp, and when she hits the right temperature, she should kick the fan on. If it doesn't, well, I can manually ground this out and turn the fan on until it cools down, and then look at another diagram. But I'm not gonna record this part of it because it's gonna take a little while for her to warm up and stuff. Well, she's sucking a lot of air through it. I mean, a feller doesn't understand how that's supposed to work, but it is. Now let's just see. She's idling a little high right now, but she's been running at that temperature for quite a while, which is a lot better than it used to do. Before, that thing would just peg out. Now there's no thermostat in it, so I don't know. Maybe we got it. Maybe that's gonna work. We'll let her run for a little while. I don't want to let it go too long because I've got to hide all the wires and everything, and it's already warmed up. But I think we'll let it run for a few more minutes, and we'll come back and see what it's doing. Imagine if I had a bigger fan. Of course, it's the biggest one I could find. But if she stays running right there, man, maybe we got it. She's running for quite a while now, and that's as hot as she's got. I think it's a little warmer than I want it, but she's idled up a little bit. I'm still trying to get the timing down. I think once we get radiator flushed and everything, I think she'll be good. So let's go ahead and shut it off and let her cool down, and I'll start hiding all the wires. Starts up slow, so I can allow that turn on. That's all right. You see, you can hear it just burning. I do have the ignition key on, so we'll cool them down. You can just feel the heat coming off that thing. It's moving some air. So I would imagine if we get running it out on the street, I think she'll be just fine. Again, still got to do the water flush. I'm going to figure out a better way to hide this wire. Just let it cool down, because I don't want to be working up in there with this super heat. Matter of fact, may come back in an hour or so. Part of me wonders if we could just run a toggle switch from this, so if we wanted to pick it on manually, we could. I'd rather it do its own thing. Now, this wire right here is my ground wire, and we're going to run it all the way up. We're actually going to hook it up here. I don't want this thing to have any reason to not have a good ground and not kick the electrical on. So the way I see doing that is we're just going to run the ground wire all the way up. And again, we'll move this over to this side so it's hidden. And we'll run the ground wire here going down. Put everything in loops. It's the first time I've ran it this long and it didn't roll over sitting. So still need to adjust the timing. The timing's up a little too high. But either way, so she's pretty well cooled down. Still a little warm, but I just left the key on, hooked the battery charger up to it, and just grounded it out so the fan was down for a while, and she's cooled down. But I got some exciting news. I went in to have lunch. My son went out to get the mail. And look what's here. So, plans have changed. We are going to, as quickly as we can, and effectively, I don't mean it like we're not going to do it just a cruddy job, but we are going to hide the wires and drain the system. And then we're going to flush the system out. And I bought the radiator flush that you pour in there with water and drive around for a little while, let it cool down, drain it again, flush it with a little bit of water, then fill your system back up. So what we're going to do, we're going to do that, but we're also going to, still a little warm, but we're going to put the new radiator hoses on it after we do the flush on there. So we're going to drain everything out after the flush, and I got a thermostat for it, so we'll put a new thermostat in it. I don't know, it's starting to get super hot out here. I don't know how long my phone's going to last doing this, so we'll have to look at that. But yep, let's get this started. All right, YouTube, so here we got it. Got all the wires in looms. Now I know that one right there is not the best zip tied down or anything, but I gotta still take all this off for putting new hoses in there. Right now I have it drained and filled up with the radiator flush and all that. So wires coming off the engine or off the fan, coming right up, ground right to the battery and everything. This right here is that little ring. I don't know if it's gonna stay on there or not. The idea of it is I don't trust anything, so if I feel that I'm having issues with it, if it's not cooling down or something, I have a wire in my truck. I can do that jump and kick them on, make them run. But as of right now, we got to take her on a short drive. Let her get nice and warm and do all the flushing on the antifreeze of it. Maybe we can solder it. And if not, maybe doing that. Well, at the end of it, but not making it to the thread. So this entire part of the video, I was talking about how awesome I was and all that other stuff. Okay, that's not true. I was talking about how the radiator's leaking right there. The cooling fans are working great, but we have some issues. One, we're not flowing water the way it should be, so I think the water pump is out. So I have a new water pump coming. With the radiator leaking up top where it's leaking, it's it's going to have to be taken off. We're going to see if they can't solder it. Hopefully they can. But what all this right here entails is that we're going to have two parts now. The second part will be after we get the radiator fixed, and a new water pump. The cooling fan is working good enough. When I was pointing down at that bucket of antifreeze, that I drove it for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and was able to, after 5 minutes with the key on, that's the reason why there's a battery charger on there, is because there's a key on it, or the key's on keeping or cooling it all down. But I was able to actually open up the bottom and let the water come out, and it wasn't that hot. So the cooling fan is working great. But if it's not flowing the water, then it doesn't really matter. So we're going to order some parts and try to get the radiator fixed, and we'll go from there. And although I keep saying flowing, circulating, the water's not circulating at an idle. You can pop the cap off, it's just not moving. But you give it a little gas and it'll start circulating, but not very much. So it's either the radiator's plugged, which I don't think it is because it's draining out good, or it's the water pump. So we got a water pump coming. Well, thank y'all for watching. If you like the video, hit the like button. Comment if you want to. Doesn't cost you a thing, but if you like and you comment, it changes the algorithm and it puts it out to where people recommends people to watch the video. So thank y'all again.